Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
But I'm in a meeting.
So we had this great meeting yesterday. Benson wasn't going to be able to come due to work commitments for today. But the great meeting meant that we were going to kind of triple team you. So Naomi also has some things here to address. But initially, part of the conversation has to do with um, what we're doing in terms of club service, club trainer, alakai, all of those various names for the things that the folks that are in your club that really help the club support the presidents, right? That's what we're talking about when we're talking about club service or club trainer. And then we also have a couple of things that will kind of work off of that. And one of those is going to be a conversation that Naomi will lead having to do with the upcoming elections that each of the clubs will have and how important those are for club succession and also the professional development and development of leaders that we have in each of our clubs. And then finally, I will have a conversation with you about the development of individual club action plans, where that's happening, when that's happening, and some of the work that Benson, Rich, Bev, and Naomi are doing to set that up with their good friend Archie. You may or may not have heard of Archie. Archie is an AI for right now district governors in Rotary, and at some point, the idea will be that it also then becomes available to club presidents, but that point is not yet now. So right now it's in the DG line and the work that they're kind of doing with that, but to then also be able to support the clubs. Okay, so let me just start with the conversation that we were talking about when we were talking about club trainers. Benson says this much better than I will, but you guys will have great grace for me because I'm wearing a Christmas shirt. So as we, I don't know that we have Rotary Christmas shirts. That's something we should think about. Anyway, we'll save that for a later date. When we're talking about the club trainer program, which is really something that was created before COVID in the 2018-2019 period, I think is probably in that time period. The idea was, hey, let's make sure that we have somebody in each of the clubs that the club can turn to help with an understanding of what the support structure within the club looks like, right? And that's why we have seen all these number of virtual and Zoom trainings that both Benson and Naomi have been putting on with some help from others, but primarily those two have been putting on over the course of the last 5 to 6 years, right? So we have this huge library of information to help with anything from, how you run a meeting to how you bring folks in, the idea of membership engagement, the foundation, running service projects, go on and on and on with the number of types of training opportunities. So these things are terrific, right? They're the kind of thing that you would want to turn to on a cold winter night with a cup of hot chocolate and marshmallows in the hot chocolate so that you can learn about Rotary, right? And the idea is these help your clubs so that the president doesn't have to be the be all end all, right? Because we think, maybe I should say I think, but I think it's a we think, that part of the reason we're having difficulty with bringing PEs and folks into leadership positions, both at the club level and at the district level, is that they think that it's all on them, right? But it isn't all on them. This is a together organization. I mean, the whole idea of Rotary and the name Rotary comes from rotation, right? Rotating the meetings. It wasn't always at one location. The idea was to share the responsibilities, and that's also the case when it comes to being a president in a club. The president is supposed to guide and align and lead, but it doesn't mean that the president is supposed to do all things, like set up, the speakers and then set up the speaker system, right? And so part of this is to make sure that with the training system that we have in place, that club trainer becomes a potentially very important part of the club leadership, helping the folks that are in both the board and the committee structures and the directors of the board to understand their functions so that the club can run in an effective and an efficient way. Supporting the president and helping with that leadership development that goes on. So that conversation is about club trainer, but it's also about leadership development, making sure that we have the ability to provide support for the leadership pathway that we know works because we've all been there, and that we want to make available for the folks that we're bringing into Rotary, into our clubs, and into the district. Any questions from anybody on that? Go ahead, Fran.
Where do you get these programs? How do I find out where to get them?
So I will take you to the primary webpage, which is the District 5000 homepage, so rotaryd5000.org. And then from there, Naomi will take over to tell you exactly where to go.
Okay, thank you. It's nice to know these things. I
Yeah.
know they're there, but I can't get to them.
Okay, so on the homepage for rotaryd5000.org, that's our website for the district, we do have the calendar, which has a list of all of the sessions that we have. And, you don't have to come to all. There's something for somebody. So this one is for the club service chairs, and then we have one for youth service. But these are learning and sharing opportunities for your chairs. So please encourage your chairs to go. For the Alakai, so it started off as that position was called the club trainer. We're calling it Alakai because the Alakai is the guide for the canoe, right? So the ones helping to guide the canoe to where to go. And we're going to be having training and letting the Alakai know what's going on so they can help the president. Okay, so this committee, the club service committee, is so important. Because when you survey members, and and Rotary surveyed members are all around the world, and the most important thing that people said that was dear to them on why they're in Rotary was this club experience. And the club service is the one committee that really has the hands-on commitment to do that club experience. So it's not only who the speakers are, because maybe some members come because they want to hear their speakers, but it's also trying to reach out to your members to have them feel that they're part of the group, that they belong there, and you're building that relationship with them. So what we want to do with this committee is to share your ideas on not only speakers, but your meeting formats. What are you doing to help enhance that experience for your members? Because you are really important to guiding that experience for your whole club. You folks are really important. Okay, so that Alakai is to help with what your initiatives are, to help with other committees, other chairs, help them learn how to do grants. So we want that Alakai to be someone who is seasoned, who knows really how things go, so that they can help the president. The president might be only there a year or two, and so they don't do the grants all the time. So the alakai is the one who can guide them, to help them. Okay, you need to sign these forms, or you need to fill out this form. And so we want to really try and build up that infrastructure for that club, for your clubs. So if you can help with that, with the elections. So we have elections this month, right? And so you have the board. You want to make sure that you've got committees for every chair. So your membership committee is not just yourself. It's the chair. It's maybe 3 or 5 people that are helping on that committee. So number one, it gets help for the chair to get things done, but also those people that are in the committee are learning how to be a leader. They're learning how the club works, and then they feel engaged. So when you work on your slate, when you work on your committees this month, try and keep that in mind, to bring in new people, to help with developing their leadership skills so they can become the president in 2, 3, 4 years.
I'm gonna share, Naomi, if I could, real quick, the D5000. We'll see if Adams is actually capable here, so we'll find out. All right, are you seeing the screen?
No.
The D5000? No.
No,
Not yet.
Not yet. Let's try that. How about
There
now?
you go. It looks like it's popping up. There you go, Doug.
Okay, great.
there
So
it is.
here on Club Resources, right? I've drawn my mouse, put it over Club Resources, which is here at the top of the home page. If you run down, you find the training library right there, right? You click on that, and here are the variety of, you got some Rotary Basic courses here, right, which are these things, and you can click into those. And then over here, you see the variety of subpages, and there's webinar recordings by topics. You could click on that. We'll see how quick, oh, sorry, I didn't do that. So when you click on that, it'll give you the opportunity apparently to save. But then there's a variety of the courses that are available to you as well. And then you got the variety of files here. But these right here, this resource library, that's the one that you can click on for these individual areas that are part of our club work. So I just wanted to show that. So I'll stop sharing, but that's not that far, right? Web page, club resources, training library, and this is where you're at.
But as clubs change, the website also is going to go through some changing. So we're going to move some of those things so it's easier to find things.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, so Doug, did you want to continue on the alakai?
No, at the moment, I think that we have gone through. What I guess I would be interested in is kind of where you were going, Naomi, which is in the opportunities that you all have had in your clubs. Are there any particular things that you would feel comfortable sharing with the folks that are on this call that you found particularly important, whether you received some support or you provided support, from somebody that was a club trainer in your club? How about I go to our district governor nominee designate and see if she can help us out there. Bev?
For everything you're doing tonight and sharing, but if you can repeat your question.
Yeah,
I had no idea you'd be coming to me. I thought you'd be coming to the club service people. So will you repeat your question so I can get a good understanding?
So Bev, what I'm asking is, because you've had a lot of different roles, right?
Yes, I have. Thank you.
Right. So in that process of being in those roles, you have had the opportunity, I would imagine, within your club to share knowledge with various members of your club. Can you provide an example of, maybe one that particularly sticks out in your mind that was, potentially supportive for them?
Oh, gosh. As president, the club service person, I always say was the best person because I could always count on that person to be there to make sure Everything is running at our club meetings. And so that's what I saw the club service person was at the time, to help us with our club meetings, to make sure we have great speakers, to also make sure when new people come to welcome them, to touch base with them, to communicate with them about what's going on. So I think the club service person is mainly the heartbeat of our clubs, because they support not only the president, but they support the entire club. And any particular incident that stands out, I can't really say right now, but I do know that I could always count on him. And even today, when I see him, I tell him he was the best club service person that I ever had, that I got to work with, because of the support. As president, I didn't have to worry about the things, the small things. I just was able to run the meeting and be a chair and support the clubs. But all the other things was taken care of by the club service chair. But now that has changed, and I think with time, the role kind of increases, or sometimes some of the things that they were not doing, we have other people doing. So any particular thing right now, Doug, I cannot come up with anything, but I'm sure those who are in the trenches right now have something that they can share with us about what's going on with their club as far as club service, a club trainer. And at the time when I was president, we didn't actually have a club trainer. It was just a club service chair. So I believe some of you can share some of the things that you're going through right now as president and club chair that may be more beneficial to the people sitting here tonight. So I'll turn it back over to you, Doug.
Thanks, Bev. Yeah, go ahead, Nancy. Thanks.
Well, our club doesn't really have a club trainer. We had a really good club service chair, but he died. And so a lot of what he was doing, I took over. And we really, really miss him, because he was the one getting the programs. He was the one who was he was Mr. Rotary. And so when we lost him in July, there was a scramble. Who's gonna pick this up? Who's gonna do this? And so I went ahead and said, well, I'll find programs for us, so that our club meetings have a program. Well, the first month we didn't have any programs, because number one, they didn't show up, or number two, they didn't get back to me. So that was the first month as president. I was kind of wondering what I got myself into with this, but so things have happened in terms of programs for our meetings. Folks have volunteered. I can do a program on the Red Cross. I can do a program on Reef Teach. I can do a program on this, that, so that's really been beneficial. But in terms of a club service chair, we don't have one right now. I'm doing what, needs to be done. But again, our membership is small, and I hate to say it, elderly. And so we're just kind of having a tough time filling all of the board positions, but particularly the club service chair. So in the meantime, it's me.
Got it. Thank you, Nancy.
You're
Rich?
welcome.
Thank you, Doug. I was the club trainer for the Rotary Club of Honolulu right after I was president, as immediate past president, I would say in 21, 22. And I thought, and this was when it was really rolling out and the whole idea was taking hold. Benson was, grabbing the reins here at that point in time. And a couple of things that came up for me during that period that I thought was important for the club trainer to do was to organize, first of all, the orientation for new members. And so I created my own script that we would go through when I had time, either before or after the meeting, or maybe on a separate occasion. And the one time I can remember that I thought it was very impactful is I did a 10, 15-minute presentation during the meeting about the use of Club Runner and the websites, both our own website and the district website, and how to access and why they're important. I think Nancy could probably say that, in her club being small and somewhat elderly, everybody's looking inward to a certain degree.
Right. Right.
And what I think a trainer should do is to, or help the clubs to do, is to look outward, to look at a larger picture in all of the ways Rotary can be beneficial in their lives and also in the lives of many others. So that was my take on the role.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rich. Fred.
Perfect. I got two things. Number one, Kim had a great question about asking the difference between a club service, club trainer, and alakai. And because I had the same exact question, so that's
Yeah,
question.
essentially, there is no difference. I'm just going to
Okay.
make that comment, right? The idea is that the functions are the same for all of those. So it's really kind of how do you refer to it within the club?
Okay, and
Perfect.
and also it depends on what kind of skill that person has, because they may be the trainer training people how to do their job, but it could be also the alakai that is going to be the anchor. So when Nancy's talking about Dennis, was that Dennis Rast? Okay, so
Yeah. No,
Dennis,
no, no. That was Mike Frazier.
oh
That was Mike
my,
Frazier. Yeah.
oh
Yeah, we
yeah.
lost Mike. Yeah, we
Okay,
lost Mike.
so in your club, you might have one person who knows how things go, and maybe it's your immediate past president or one of the other past presidents that know how things go. So when we had the club trainer position in Club Runner, and this started probably in 2017. Okay, we asked all the clubs to do a club trainer. Then Rotary changed it to facilitator. So if you look at your list of positions on Club Runner, it's your club facilitator. So that is the old trainer. And Benson wants to call it a alakai because it's more than just a trainer position. It's the person who's going to be the anchor for your club, who you can go to. And so that's why when we do these training, we're saying you guys are going to be the smartest person in your club, because we want to really give them the tools and the knowledge to be that support person for the club. Okay, so Fred, does that kind of clear it up?
Yeah, that clarified it. And so, with one of the other items I've learned as I'm becoming president elect, I've only been with Rotary for a few years, the value of the club trainer. So, one of the items that I'm trying to push, and I don't know if other people are doing, is because, as Nancy pointed out, they lost someone who knew how to do it excellent. Like my time of servicing in the Navy and everything was always train the next person how to use. So, what I'm going to try to bring in is like a trainer apprentice or like club service chair apprentice. So we'll have the chair and apprentice so we can start teaching people, or I want to use the word Padawan, but I don't know if I can get it, to actually start bringing people in. So like walking into the role as president-elect, I know some other people are, there's a ton that I didn't know was going to be happening. And so what I want to start trying to do with the Waikiki Club, and hopefully with other people, if we can talk with them, is start getting other people that you think can groom for, Chad Adams, who our current president, says, let's look 2 and 3 years ahead, start trying to bring people in so they can understand it. Like when I first came in, I said I wanted to do club service. So next thing I know, I was a club service chair. And I didn't learn a lot. So that's one of the items, because looking at it and reading what the club trainer does, it's such a truly critical role for the growth of Rotary and having people when they first come in to explain to them. Because I remember the last meeting we had, we talked about, can you explain what Rotary does? And everybody has a different answer. And because it's so many items that you have and it can do it. So I just want to bring that up. That's what I'm going to try to bring is when I become president, I want to start actually getting the chairs, then having assistants coming in underneath it, then Padawans that can start learning. So you can groom more people, because you lose someone that knows how everything works. Like we have Dave Hamill as our treasurer, and he's been doing it for so many years. It's pretty amazing. He knows how to do everything, but knowledge, we want to expand the knowledge. As Doug was saying earlier, Rotary started by passing around information, making sure we could pass it. I'm not saying take people out of their position, but have someone who can fill in.
That is awesome. And that's exactly what we need to do. And Fred, we're going to help you train your all of your positions in April when we have the assemblies. Okay, and Matt has his hand up.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. It's interesting because in our club, those titles mean a different thing. So let me give you an example. Because you guys mentioned that the club service and like all these titles, Doug, you mentioned that it's basically the same person or the same roles, right?
Right.
Okay, so in our club, yeah, it's definitely segregated. So I'm the club service chair. So yeah, we didn't have a club service chair before I got involved. And again, HPH was a very, very small club, like less than 10 members, right? So ever since the Rotary year started, we've grown. We've inducted about 12 people so far. We're inducting another 5 people by the end of the month. So we have a lot of growth. And when there's a lot of growth, you can finally see a lot of the errors that our club had, right? So one of the biggest challenges was the onboarding process. I know someone mentioned about, club service or club trainer or whatever, but so our club trainer and club service, yeah, two different guys. So our club trainer couldn't handle the load of all the new people coming in. So we had a lot of people not doing the background checks. We had a lot of people not, they're just kind of falling through the cracks. So we kind of did a huge facelift on our onboarding system. We do an in-person group session where we're teaching the new members, how to fill out an after action report, how to fill out a check request form, how to go on the District 5000 website and really, yeah, there's videos on Club Runner, but the younger generation, they don't watch that stuff, right? They need some hands-on stuff, right? So, so as for me as the club service chair, so the only role that I have technically would be to because I do that and the membership. So I'm in charge of all the new people coming in, making sure they have a great time. But the club service role that we have is in charge of making sure all the members renew and stay. So I host I do a lot of the networking events. We post a lot. We do a lot of promos. We just rented a trolley for the Christmas lights in a couple weeks, right? So because our club is growing and everyone is designating the roles, the club service chair at our book is the person that's in charge of creating events and socializing and just making sure breaking bread. It's not just a bunch of general meetings every Tuesday, right? So, but yeah, that's our role of the club service chair.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's just terrific, frankly, and the idea of, so I'm going to say something I'm not supposed to say, but I'll get slapped around later. Titles are important, but they're not all of the, right? The functions are what you guys are looking at, right? And you are filling the things that are priority based on the conditions that you have found yourself in, right? Bringing new members in, making sure they understand what Rotary is so important, right? To make sure that that's done right, because that is how you get staying power with the membership. And then your club can begin to do things that will be important for your clubs, the priorities that your clubs have, right? And so, everybody here listening to you, I'm sure is like, that sounds like the membership person in ours, or that sounds like the ombudsman person in our, whatever. The deal is that the function is what's being accomplished so that the club itself becomes more resilient, right? And that's what you guys are focused on. And that's what trainers or alakai or club service chairs, regardless of what you call them, and there are differentiations, as Naomi pointed out. But the key here is that position is designed to support the rest of the positions that are in the club to be the best that they can be, to make sure that the functions of the club are being met.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that's just terrific. Jan, before I call you, just because you're my friend, I had told Lila that I would call her. Lila had set this up. So, Jan, we will definitely come back to you. Besides that, I like your hat. And I'm going to turn this on over to Lila at the moment.
Thank you, Doug. And I apologize, everyone, for miscuing on the time. Hi, Rich. Nice to see you. Yeah, Benson asked me to chat with you folks about the club experience. And I know we're talking about leadership now and the different roles. And I was just curious if you could share from your club. We know the benefits of Rotary. I've been a member for over 30 years with the Rotary Club of Honolulu in the past. And we know what Rotary can do. We know what Rotary does. We know the connections with our sister clubs and all the millions of people, around the world that are Rotarians. For us to really grow, not just grow Rotary, but grow also in the community with your role as in the clubs, there has to be something that calls people, regardless of their age. And so, if I could ask you, to share what is special, what is unique about your particular club location, the people. Why would someone want to be part of what you're doing in your club? I don't know, Rich, you want to start? Since I know I can pick on you, we know each other, and you will be DG soon.
Yeah, there's a lot that I can say about the Rotary Club of Honolulu since there's this history that goes back over 110 years now. Um, and we were the mother club, and we benefited from a status perspective for a lot of years, and then COVID came along and sort of eviscerated all of that, caused us to have to go into the wilderness, if you will, as far as our locations are concerned, and our times and everything, and the expense that got out of hand. It has gotten out of hand. But what we have, and why people should join our club, is we have a very strong core group of business leaders who have been very generous over the years and have provided us with a foundation that's worth quite a bit of money. And from that foundation, we can do a lot of good in the world. And so we utilize our foundational resources to go on international trips without having to go through global grants. We do a lot of scholarship now, much more than we did in the past. So that's another benefit. And our community service is very robust right now. So we have a lot of things going on in our club, and we're coming back in a very strong way as far as our engagement in the community is concerned. And we're pretty much settled in on the Pacific Club, even though it's expensive, and we can't seem to get around that expense. But we now have a pretty good lunch at the Pacific Club, which is more centrally located than where we were out in Outrigger and other places. So that's why people come to us, is that they want to be around people who are forward-looking and are engaged and have tradition. Because we do have all of that.
Great. Thank you so much. And what I'm hearing too is that location, that matters too. And certainly when I became a member many, many years ago, it was very sexy to be at the Royal Hawaiian. And, the history of clubs, and not just Honolulu Club, but you have history too. Nancy, the Kona Sunrise, I've attended there when we were doing kids voting. What's special about your club?
Oh my gosh. Well, frankly, I'm a little braggadocio on this because we meet at Papakona Restaurant on the top floor. It's only 2 floors on the upstairs that overlooks the ocean. And it's 7 o'clock for breakfast. We have the best meeting location. The sun is just rising this time of year. There's a cruise ship out in the bay. The Pride of America stops on Wednesdays on our side. And it's a little rustic with the Papakona Restaurant, but we've made tablecloths to cover up the tables. And we have our Zoom set up with our screens, our projectors. We do have a few Zoomers that are at home because of their spouse's health condition. They cannot be left alone. We have a very warm and welcoming staff at the Papakona Restaurant. We order off the menu, and it's delivered during the meetings, and we eat well, and it's just a good place to gather right on top of the ocean.
It's comfortable, is what I'm hearing you say.
Thank you. Yes, it is very comfortable.
And I'm sure your clubs, the meetings, we would want them to be places where the members feel comforted, whatever is going on.
Yes.
Not just the world, but also in their personal lives. Jan, I'm not acquainted with you.
Lila, I'm just going to make a quick comment, and then you're going to go to Jan. I've attended Nancy's meetings a few times when I was over on that side, and I would just say, in addition to being comfortable or comforting, they're also very welcoming. And so there is something to be said for some of the smaller clubs. When you have folks that turn up out of the blue, as happens to our club as well, occasionally, you don't get lost, right? You're immediately brought in, and people want to know about you. What's your situation? What's your Rotary story also kind of comes up. All of that is a part and parcel, I think, of Kona Sunrise and the nature of their club, at least from an outsider.
Thank you, Doug. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. I'll pass that on to the meeting next week. Thank you.
And what you're suggesting, Doug, also is lending to itself all these comments, and why we're asking is that the alakai, who is really a guide, a facilitator, trainer, if you will, is intended to talk about, to help the members and help the leadership with the relationships as well as the actions and processes. Because those kind of things can be read about, and we have some protocols here in Hawaii that are very special, but it's really the relationship that I'm hearing and the comfort that makes a difference. And Jen, I'm sorry, I don't know what we're not acquainted yet, and I don't know what club you're with.
Jan is Hilo Bay, and I have interrupted her at least 3 times tonight. So hopefully she'll forgive me.
No, I don't
Okay.
think so. I just ask questions. So I first want to say, is it Lila?
Yes, it is.
I don't think we've met in person, but you must have like joined when you were 10. I don't know. Like, 30 years. That blows my mind. So I'm just so impressed. But
Thank you.
I just
I'm going to come visit your club and give you a hug. Thank you.
Oh, yes, please. So going off of your question, I have to say yes. When I was first invited, I was invited by people I knew, from other organizations and whatnot. So I felt very safe, I guess, coming. I trusted that they were going to take me to some crazy like club. And then when I showed up, it was in a beautiful place. We used to be at the Hilo Yacht Club, the yacht club without yachts.
Mhm.
And that was great. But I have to say, it came down to I knew a lot of people in that room that I had not realized were in Rotary. So seeing that I already had friends there just kind of sold me on the idea, like, why am I not doing this already? So that was I was a shoo-in, because I was invited to a club that, I mean, not to say I have friends like Doug in other clubs,
Sure.
but Doug never invited me. So anyway, that's beside the point. So
So what I'm hearing you say is it's about connections and feeling
Yes.
connected.
for sure. And being around people that you trust and being around people that have your back. And when we make a decision collectively, we know it's not going to fail, and it's in a
Super.
great organization. We can trust kind of everybody around and inclusive of the other clubs in Hilo,
Right.
and
Thank you.
everyone I've met basically
Thank you,
in
thank
Rotary. And I'm very happy that I was invited finally.
And that trust factor it's humongous. And that's
Yeah.
really why when we talk about the role of the facilitator and having information on how things work, is that the members can also trust that the information is correct, as well as their relationships are worthwhile. I know Naomi is going to bring some closure to the meeting, but maybe just 1 or 2 more. Fran, what club are you with?
I had a question though, or I had a statement. I just want to quickly say I was club services this year. I had no idea what that meant. No idea. And I have kind of just done it on a whim. But I just want to say, from looking at what I'm dealing with, with my slate, under club services, we have other committee chairs. So we have club services, which is me, and then we have audio visual equipment. We have club socials. We have learning facilitator. We have membership. We have newsletter website, and we have programs. And that's all broken down under club services. So I can't imagine one person doing all of this. Thank goodness my club sectioned it out. So I kind of just made sure everybody kind of
Absolutely. Yeah. Connections. That's what you do.
that's what our club services looks like in
Thank
our
you.
club. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. And Fran, your club?
Hi there. Thank you for getting to me. Anyway, I was at the very beginning, maybe about 17 years ago. No, about say 13 years ago. And that was a high point for the Windward Kailua Rotary Club. We still do meet at the Mid Pacific Golf Club, but then it was every week, and it was the gala of the traditional Rotary Club, all that. It was fantastic. And when somebody was talking about elderly, I think that's what most of Rotary is, elderly. Except when I have a place in Park City, Utah, and I go to their Rotary Club, it is the Bang Busters. They're doing all these things. All the movers and shakers of the city up there. It is so exciting.
So
Now,
what if, so I want to ask you, just go back to your your comment about
right here.
elderly.
Well,
What is the uniqueness about having a club with mostly elderly people?
okay, because elderly is, I always say chronological age stops we stop talking about that about 50 and 60, because then it really is physiological and mental age. I mean, all the differences as you go through. And
So,
I'm a psychologist, so I've been doing this for 1,000 years.
super.
And right now, we're down, my little club has been down, and we just lost one of our oldest members at 98. This was a gentleman who was in the CIA in Washington and was as Akamai as anybody else.
Blessings,
Maybe not as
blessings.
fast as anybody else walking, but still sharp.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask you to think more specifically, and actually I'm going to put my email in the chat. And if you could take that down and share with me what makes your club special and unique. And again, Fran, if there's so many elderly, there's a gift in that. What is
I'm
the
not
gift?
saying anything against it. I'm
No,
an elder myself.
no. I got it.
Yeah. The idea is we're all changing. We were a little club. When we talk about little club, maybe 8 people. We met once a month at Mid-Pac Golf
Sure.
Club. But now we're combining what was the morning club, which now we do a Zoom with the morning club. But now that we're starting to hopefully resurrect and become what I remember way back when.
Super. I'm going to give the time over to Naomi so that we can end on time, because I know this is finished at 7:30. I'll send you my email. Please just jot down, it can be in bullets. What is it about your club that makes it unique, special, and even compelling for you to be there? Because I think that will reach other people to want to become members as well. So thank you, Doug, for the time.
Becoming members.
Thank
I
you
don't
for
know.
the
The Elks have members every month. Totally different situation.
Doug,
Okay,
thank you. And Naomi, it's your show.
Okay, Fran, your babies came back to your mother club because remember the Sunrise Club spun off from Windward, and now you're merged again. But see, this is where we have that pillar for the action plan, which is being adaptable, adapting to the situation, being flexible. And so things change over the years at different times. So be flexible with your meetings.
So that's what we love. And
Yep.
this is what life is. It's
Yes.
constant change. If it didn't, we'd be really in bad shape.
And so this is where the club service is looking at what's going on with the club. So just remember that club service is different from the club trainer. The alakai is the person who can help, is the support person for the chairs and the president. The club service committee, which is this meeting, is that group of people that are helping with the and sometimes you call it at the club administration, because you're taking care of all of the things that happen within the club, which is the club experience, the speakers, the club meetings. So for you, think about the board and the incoming people to look at your action plan and your strategic plan. What do you need to do to change if you need to change? Maybe everything is okay. So when Matt is talking about we're bigger now, so we need different committees. So you maybe looking at this is a good time with the incoming board and really getting a refresher on how to structure. So we really want to have every club build that structure for the club so that you have these people that can support the club. Is ongoing, no matter who's the president, is going to still continue. So that means people doing their part with club service, youth service, and if you're a small club, maybe you have a service chair that does all of the service, no matter what avenue it is. So just thinking outside of the box. Right now is a good time to reach out to your members that you haven't seen. Okay, because that fellowship, that support, the ohana feeling is one of the things that keep people in Rotary. So some of you may have gotten the invoice from Rotary International or the notice from Rotary International that the invoice is coming out on January 1st. Okay, so January 1st, whoever's in your roster, you're going to be charged in the dues for Rotary International. So now is a really good time to reach out to people you haven't seen and try and help them get reconnected with the club so you don't lose them. Okay, but you want to reach out so that they feel that they're part of the club. Okay, so think about how you can make that club experience something that's really awesome, that people want to come to your club, that they really feel connected to the club. So that is what this club service committee is for. Okay, so it's a good time to refresh New Year's resolutions. What would you want to do to change the meeting styles, the membership categories, the committees, getting more people on the committee so you can train them and bring that new group of people up, and passing the baton to new leaders. Okay, so reach out and touch someone, but help work with your membership committee to really to really bring in everybody so they feel that they're part of the group. So good time to think about that club experience right now. So we want to help with bringing that structure to the club, and one of the key pieces on that structure is your alakai person. So we would like every club to have that alakai, and choose that person wisely. You want somebody who's going to really be there to support the club members, the chairs, the committee chairs and the committees. But they don't really need to do everything, but because the more people you have doing things, the more engaged and committed they are. And taking the learning. So when you get your people elected, put the people into their positions on Club Runner, and when you do that, they will get an email that says congratulations and please take a lesson on the Learning Center. Hey, so Jan was really good at taking some lessons at the Learning Center, and you kind of caught up with all of this stuff by taking those courses. Yeah. So see, Bev. Jan is following in your footsteps to learn.
And
Okay.
Naomi, if I just may add to what you were saying, when you're looking for folks for the different roles, one of the major criteria, I think, is their aloha and the naturalness with which they speak with someone, the respect that they have, the kindness. So, aloha is not a soft thing. Aloha is actually one of the strongest leadership skills that anyone could demonstrate. So I'm going to encourage you to live your aloha, and that will attract the service chairs to live that way as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
I like that. I like that.
Finding the right people and so if you've got people who are in the position a long time, you might want to change them out just because you want to cross-train people. But I want to take just 2 minutes to ask you, how is it going with your slates, your elections? Is it coming out okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Good, thanks. Sorry, late traffic.
Yeah, no parking at the Lihue airport, right?
Yeah, just crush hour going home.
Yeah, everybody's going over for the parade, but take take a moment to really look at your slate and who you have in there. And then after you got your slate, get your committees. So hopefully you have an assembly soon. And here you can have people sign up for all of the committees. You want everybody engaged in a committee doing something, right? Okay, so reach out, get your slates together. If you're having a hard time with the slate, please reach out to your AG, Nancy, or any one of us to help you. Maybe we can help with maybe restructuring some of the committees or give you some ideas. And this is what this committee is for, to share ideas on speakers, on meetings, on other things. Okay, so we've got 1 more minute. Last comments from anybody?
Yeah, I'm good.
Naomi,
Clay?
it's Kim. I
Kim?
put a question in the chat. Oh, somebody just answered me. Doug answered me. I was looking for the list of all the club roles.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so essentially what I said was, you can go to My Rotary and you can go to the Club Runner, and there will be a list of various positions that the president's asked to fill out, right? The P's asked to fill out for their year. Also in the Learning Center, there's videos about all of the main club positions, and inside those videos, you'll find opportunities for sub positions that help in the functions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Doug.
Okay. And Gina's been really quiet. So, Gina, are you there? You want to share anything?
No, I'm not here, Naomi.
Okay. Okay. Everybody,
Is there anything specific you wanted me to talk about?
if you wanted to share anything that's about club service in your club.
We don't actually have a club service position. We have someone that does a part of it, and that person will schedule our members to do certain tasks for each of our meetings. So greeter, setup breakdown, pledge, 5-way test, just to kind of engage all of our members. One of the things that one of the additional tasks is member moment. So it's just sharing anything that you want to share. Maybe it's a trip that you just came back from. Maybe it's some kind of event or whatever it is, maybe your history, your background, whatever it is, we let our members share. It's a great way to learn more about the member in addition to just vocational focus. So that's one thing that we do. And one of the other things that we shifted this year, instead of happy dollars, we changed it to sharing and shout outs. We wanted it to be more warm and open and not have people feel like they needed to give money all the time. And so it seems to be pretty well received.
Awesome. So you're innovating, you're adopting, you're engaging. So thank you, everybody. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving and happy holidays.
Aloha.
Happy holidays.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Thank you, Naomi.
Thank you, Naomi.
Thanks,
everyone.
Naomi. Thank you,
Thanks,
Reggie.
everybody.
Thank you, Lila.
Bye.
Blessings.